Bum-ba-da-dum! Howdy y'all, Banjo Ben here with my brand new Gallagher guitar. I'm loving this thing. Today we're going to do a Build-A-Break for You Are My Sunshine in the key of G. If you've never watched a Build-A-Break lesson before, these are really great because we start with the very basic melody, then we step it up from there, usually creating 2 or 3 solos. I have 3 today, so watch through all 3 solos, and then I'll tell you a little bit more after I play it what the purpose of Build-A-Breaks really are. Wasn't that fun? So you saw what I did. We started with the basic melody, then we added just some regular scale notes connecting those melody notes, and then we started adding in some licks to help us spice it up a little bit. So I invite you to learn along with me. However, a little word of warning before we get started. The point of this lesson and all my Build-A-Break lessons is not principally for you to learn the tabs that I'm teaching or the exact solos. Rather, I want you to go through the process, the philosophy of building a break with me. Listen to what I say about what we can do with not just this melody, but with any melody, because I want you to come away from these Build-A-Break lessons with a new skill in building your own breaks, eventually being able to do that in real time. You hear a melody and you're able to produce a solo that you love. So with that in mind, let's dive into this basic melody for You Are My Sunshine. And if you're watching here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so that you can be notified of all my videos that I put out. And I have hundreds of lessons on guitar, banjo, and mandolin, all of them available to Gold Pick members at banjobenclark.com. Before we pull up the tab, before we start talking about any of the notes that we're picking, let's start with a little discussion about the foundation we must have, also known as the melody, right? Without the melody, we are lost like a ship at sea with no sail. There's all kinds of things that we can play, but ultimately we want to try to communicate the melody. And it takes time as a guitar player to learn how to hear what that melody is. But I'm here to teach you and help you get better and then know what to do with that melody once you have it, which is the point of these Build-A-Breaks. So what I would encourage you to do is, even if you're more of an intermediate or advanced picker, watch this basic melody portion because I'm going to challenge you to hear the melody and to be able to own and internalize that melody so that we can then work with it. Now, let's talk a little bit about this song in particular. It's in the key of G, the way that we're playing it today. Okay, we've got 3 chords that we're talking about for this song: G, C, and D. Very basic, straight ahead melody. And we also have 4 beats in each measure. And there's some patterns that we're going to find. Let's go ahead and pull up that first line of tab. You'll notice that the pickup notes, more oftentimes than not, throughout the whole melody, is going to come in on which beat? The second beat. Look at that first measure there. We have a rest on the first beat, and then it comes in. So we need to be able to count and know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go into a couple half notes that are 2 beats each, measure 2. And then we have the same thing in measure 3 and the same thing in measure 5, where we come in on the second beat. Now that doesn't mean that we don't play anything ever on the first beat. It just means that we know when the melody actually starts. So we ought to be able to sing along, and that's why I have the words here. Sing along and play this melody. Let's try it with the tab. We're only playing 1 fret, right? Just that second fret. The rest of the strings are open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. 1. You make me. And then it'll go to the C chord. So what I'd like for you to do, challenge you to press pause on this video, sing that song, and get away from the tab, because if we stay on the tab and we're dependent on the tab, we're never going to internalize this. Use the tab to know where to put your fingers and then pull away from the tab, divert your eyes from the tab, and learn how to play this by ear and by heart. And it ought to sound exactly like what you sing. As we go into the next line, we're going to continue that theme. Exactly what we sing. Happy when skies are gray. That note there in measure 8, that's a whole note. It takes up the whole measure. That means we're going to have lots of fun things to play there whenever we start improvising over this. Last measure, we have another one of those pickups that starts on the second beat. So this time we only introduced 2 more new frets, the 1st fret and the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. That 2nd fret at the end, we already played that one, right? So do the same thing with me here. Play this along with me and then internalize. Starting on the word happy. 1, 2, ready, go. Happy when skies are gray. You'll never... And then we have some repeating. Go to the next line. We have some more repeating. The song goes back to the 4 chord, the C chord. 1, 2, ready, go. Oh dear, how much I love you. And then here, measure 13 is the first time that it comes in on the 2nd beat. So we have a half note rest. Again, that doesn't mean that we don't play stuff there. We will. We're just aware that the melody's coming in on the 3rd beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's play this whole line. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, let's try it again. I messed up. Excuse me. 1, 2, ready, go. And our final line. Nothing really new here. We do have, well, some new rhythms, but they're all straight up, right? Half note, 3, 4, half note, 3, 4, 1. And then in measure 17, those are the pickup notes into our next solo where we're going to learn how to use the major scale to begin adding notes to fill it in. Let's try this whole line together. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so before we move on, we're going to play it all the way through slowly, this basic melody, and we are going to show the tab. But then I beseech you, brethren and sistren, that you pause the video and you get to where you can sit around and play this melody on your own without a tab, singing along either out loud or in your mind, okay? If you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to pick up what I want you to pick up in the next 2 solos because you're not going to know what the melody is. And whenever I start talking about embellishing the melody and using connecting notes to connect that melody and then playing licks in place of the melody, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. So I really encourage you to do that. Let's go back up to the top and let's run through it again slow. And if you need it slower, you can slow the video down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take the sunshine away. Okay, well, we'll get to those licks here in just a little bit, right? But now, promise me, you're going to press pause and you're going to work on this. If you need to download the tab, you can do that as a Banjo Ben Clark Gold Pick member. It's right here on the lesson page. Don't forget, I've got all the Jam Track MP3s down there at various speeds for you to practice along with too. So you don't have to play it on your own. Use my Jam Track MP3s to play it with someone. Okay, let's jump into the next solo when you're ready. And we're going to learn how to add G major scale notes to make this sound more like a solo. I assume now that you have a handle on the basic melody and it's time for us to step up from there. Before we pull the tab up, we need to cover another prerequisite in order to get the most out of this lesson. It's something you need to learn anyway, and that's the major scale. Now, I have major scale studies here on the site, so you'll want to go find those, and lots of other lessons that teach about the major scale. But what we're going to do in the second solo is we're just going to connect those melody notes with notes from our major scale. It's a very safe and easy way to begin improvising without having to know, without having to know a whole lot. And it's a lot of fun, and it teaches you how to go around the fretboard. Let's briefly just cover the G major scale, because that's not what this lesson is about. But I'm going to start down this G note, and it looks like this. And now what we're going to do, our strategy is to take these basic melody notes and we're going to fill the blank spaces, like around those half notes and around those whole notes, with just little scale runs. You say, well, which note's in the scale run? It ultimately doesn't matter. I'm about to show you some that I liked, but if I play it again and I'm not reading this tab, I'm going to play different ones, and you're going to play different ones. We've got all of these at our disposal. Right? And we don't always have to play them ascending and descending. We can skip, make patterns. Right? So we'll see some examples of that here. Let's pull up that first tab. It's important to remember where our melody notes are. If we were to just superimpose the melody notes over this, you can spot them out. Sunshine, my only sunshine. Now there's lots of other notes there too. What are those notes? Those notes are only drawn from the G major scale. Understand? Easy stuff. It just takes knowing the scale and then just playing them in spaces. So now we've landed on our melody note, measure 18, and I'm just going to do a little run. Coming back up to that melody note. My only son. Now measure 20. I want you to notice something I did here on purpose. We're going to play this fourth fret here. That's the same note as your open second string. I just wanted to show you that we can reach up and grab it there. And sometimes it's easier to do that instead of switching strings. Just jump up and grab that. If we were to remove all the unnecessary notes on this line, you would still be left with your melody. It's in there. I'll play it up to speed and you can hear what I'm talking about. Pretty cool, huh? It's hidden in there, and your ears are gonna follow that melody, but there's lots of other cool stuff too. Let's try playing it together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've changed chords now. Does that mean that we changed scales? Technically, you can, but I'm still thinking about this like a G major scale, because all your G major scale notes are going to sound just fine over that C chord. Melody. Let's try to play this line together. 1, 2, ready, go. There's so many possibilities that we can do, right? Whenever we're looking to fill notes, and you'll notice that if you go back and you compare measure 23 to measure 7, we're not doing very much. The main melody notes are there. All that we did was we added one E string in on the rest just to fill that in. But it doesn't mean, whenever we're improvising using the scale, it doesn't mean we have to play steady eighth notes all the time. That would get old. It would just wear your ear out. So we're just doing little sprints here and there. And then measure 24. We've just got 2 eighth notes in there, but it's just enough. So we still leave space, even though we have all these scale notes available to us. Now we can add a few more in and make it maybe a little bit more interesting. That's what we see in the next line. Where's the melody here? The melody goes, boom, 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 boom. And the melody's there. Let me play it up to speed, and you can listen for it. You'll never know, dear. Oh, that's hard to sing the melody and play this. Love you. That's a new skill that I need to develop, is singing the basic melody while playing these tabs. But it's there. You can hear it. There's nothing tricky about this line. I do advise at the end of measure 28 that you shift up to grab that second fret and fourth fret with these fingers, rather than trying to get it with your pinky. Not that you don't need to be able to get it with your pinky. And it's not helpful, it is, but it's just quicker to jump up and use those stronger fingers. Let's try to play it together. 1, 2, ready, go. And then just more of the same here, right? What's our melody? Boom, boom, boom. That's what we have in measure 30. Oh, sorry. And then our melody goes boom, 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 boom. So let's try playing this line together. 1, 2, ready, go. What are we doing there in 32? We're walking right down the, honestly, it's the pentatonic scale, but we're just kind of covering some of the scale tones as we fill in some of that space. Now, the kickoff to the next solo has a little giddy up in it. It's got that hammer-on. We're going to have some hammer-ons and slides and pull-offs, some more difficult rhythms, a little bit of syncopation in the next solo. Let's check it out. In this solo, we're going to add some licks and some ornaments. What I mean by ornaments are those pull-offs and slides and hammer-ons. And at this point, we can start to take a little bit more liberty with the melody. We don't have to play each and every melody note. We're just going to keep the idea in there and come back around to it as we see fit. And we also don't have to, as we saw in the last solo, we don't have to have the melody notes falling exactly in the timing that they are whenever you sing it. So when you sing this song, it's very straight, right? It's, you are my sunshine. But no, there'd be nothing wrong with singing it like this. You are my sunshine. Or, you are my sunshine. Nothing wrong with that. And that's what we're going to do on our instrument. We're going to take those melody notes and we're going to push and pull them in time. But we're not going to get lost because we have that straight up melody kind of running in our minds the whole time. Okay, as we start this measure, or this solo, measure 34, our melody is here. So we're going to play the melody in two different places, the B note, and we're also going to slide up to it in this fourth fret, which is also a B note. So there's our melody. And not only are we going to slide one string, I'm going to put my finger down behind it on the first fret and slide the whole thing. And that's just creating some harmony there. And then keep it down, because in the next measure, we're going to walk it chromatically down one fret. So we're taking some liberty with the melody. Instead of going, my only, we're going, my only, and that's totally fine. It sounds great, doesn't it? And that's what's fun about experimenting. And now we have this melody that goes, sunshine, and it just hangs out. So what we can do is take one of our favorite licks and play that here. And as long as it contains our melody note once or twice, we're good. And that's what this is. This lick sounds like this. Kind of a banjo lick. Imagine that. The whole line. 1, 2, ready, go. What is the melody doing here in 38? So we're going to make part of that C chord anyway. You can make the whole C chord if you want. And we're going to do a little bit of cross picking. Okay? And we're just taking the notes in the chord and using those as filler. You can always do that. Over a G chord, over a C chord, over a D. Okay? So that's what we're doing here. Back to the melody. Then we've got another place for a great lick that sounds like this. Now that pull-off in measure 40 has two little bar lines under it. And that means it's a 16th note pull-off. A little bit more advanced, but that means we're just going to do the pull-off twice as fast as what our eighth notes are doing. So just practice with me doing this. Now add the last note to that measure. It sounds like this. Now let's back up and play one note beneath it, or before it. Let's play two notes before it. Now let's start with our slide and play it all together. Now you got the lick. That's how you learn new licks, that little process. It may take you longer than what we just did there real time. A lot of licks, it takes me a lot longer than that to learn, but that's how you do it. The whole line, 1, 2, ready, go. Again, some more repeating, starting measure 42. And here, I'm going to, just like we did with the B string, our melody note's here, but we can also find that on the 5th fret beneath it. So I can use a slide up to there to add a cool little flair. Okay, so I'm playing the same notes as this. I'm just playing them in a different position. This note here is the same as this note. It's important that we develop that awareness. So up to that point. And that puts our index finger right over this 3rd fret for a cool little Tony Rice type lick. 2 hammer-ons in a row, and then jump down. You can practice just that lick on its own. And then we go into another hammer-on, into a double stop. And if it's too hard for you to get that double stop at the end of 45, just play that 2nd fret. It'll be fine. Let's try the whole line. 2, ready, go. We don't have to play through those 2 strings really hard. We don't have to make the top string as loud as the first one. This is the main note. The other one's just kind of a harmony note. As long as it's there, it's fine. When we get to the next line, we're going to do that same slide that we did earlier, except this time, it's going to be twice as fast. And then what are we doing to come back down? Backwards. Okay? So you might just practice going. In fact, let's try that. Forget about those 2 D notes on the 2nd fret. Let's try doing this. I said 2nd fret, 2nd beat. Watch. Too hard to do both notes, just do the bottom note. Just do that 2nd to 4. Now we can go down and add in one of those D notes. Sounds like this. Now we can add in both of them. Fun. It's a little bit tougher to get up to speed, but it's possible. And again, you can just do that 1 note slide if you want. It's fine. Okay. Our next measure, do a double stop that we haven't done before. It's 2 and 3. And we're going to do it with our first 2 fingers because we're going to do a hammer-on with our ring finger. Again, if we ignore the 2nd beat, it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's add 1 D note. Now both. We're going to put both those together. 1, 2, ready, go. And then a great little G run to end. Let's try the whole line. I know it's maybe a little quick for you if you just learn these licks for the first time. 1, 2, ready, go. I missed a note too, so don't feel bad. Okay, let's try the whole solo. The third solo, that is. And remember, you can slow this down if you want. If you need jam tracks, they're right there on the page, on the lesson page for you Gold Pit members. Download the tabs too. 1, 2, ready, go. Have fun with this one. Internalize that melody. Use your scales. Throw your favorite licks in wherever you can. Building a break.